guys, and welcome back to episode 9 of Livebox. Yes, episode 9. We're nearly at double figures, guys. Nearly there. This is the entertainment show brought to you from Live at the Quays. I myself, Alex Charles, and I'm joined again by the amazing Anna.
Yo. I keep trying to think of different things to say every time. I said hi, I said hiya.
Every time.
Yo. Yeah, gotta keep it fresh.
So last week we spoke about Lebanon and TikTok being banned, but this week we're going to discuss two topics on everyone's lips. That is the Ellen, not the Ellen, but Ellen from the Ellen Show, and Misa and Harriman in regards to the Black Lives Matter Vogue photo shoot. So should we get straight into it?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we're gonna get straight into it. So last month, 11 current and former employees of the Ellen Show spoke out, alleging that there is a sort of toxic workplace on her show. With one of the black employees who was a writer for the show, actually said that there were racist comments made towards them. Other employees said that they were fired after taking time off to go to funerals for family members, which I think is ridiculous. Like, how can you be fired for taking time off to go to
it's a family event. It's not like they're calling in sick. Goodness. Imagine if that was them.
So during lockdown, I don't know if anyone watched her show during lockdown, but she had to do it from literally her house. Staff complained that she had hired an external non-unionized crew to basically help her film segments of the show, and they were taking 60% of the pay away from the normal crew. So I don't know. Obviously, me understanding how television works, like behind the crew, I would be very annoyed, because that's like 60% on a crew is a lot. Like to slice away 60% from a crew that you don't even use all the time, that's a lot of money, because the original crew got her to that stage, and then you're just taking away 60% of that for what? Because you want to need a crew for like a couple of weeks. It's stupid, man. And she described like being in her house as like being in jail and stuff like that, but obviously
that's obviously gonna feel like that.
Yeah, but so in a more recent event, I guess you call it, she tried to sort of correct issues raised about what happens behind the scenes, sort of sexual harassment, racist behavior, and stuff like that at her daytime show, saying that she had not sort of been able to stay on top of everything and relied on others to do their jobs as she sort of wanted them to do, and she sort of knew that she wanted them to be done. So she basically sort of brushed past the whole thing, because she basically said it may have happened, but it's not really my fault, because I don't have control. So it's like she basically just done a whole curve. But sources at Telepictures have said that Ellen is now stepping down from the show. And the crazy thing is, she's 62.
I didn't even know. I didn't know that until I thought she was. I thought she was younger. I thought she was
well younger than that. She's 62. That's crazy. I thought she was much younger than that, because I remember watching the Ellen Show for the first time, and there's been so many guests on there that like obviously we now know, like Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift,
like loads of famous
so many people on there, and it's crazy. But yeah, apparently she's now stepping down from the show, or basically considering it, and the show's been running for 17 years, which is crazy. That's crazy. She basically said that she feels like she can't sort of go on, and the only way to sort of recover her and her brand is to sort of shut down the show and sort of step away from it. My question is, do you sort of think that it's fair that Ellen takes all the blame and responsibility?
No, it's not fair for her to take all the blame. It's her. It is her face of the show. Like, it's in her name, but she's not the only person responsible for running it. Like, there's crew members. There's so many people behind the scenes making things happen. It's not just her. Yeah. So it shouldn't be fair for her to take. I think
she should take the blame for what she's done and what she could have prevented. But at the same time, the producers also need to take the blame as well.
Yeah. because what the producers done, she can't like she could have prevented some stuff, but at the end of the day, there are some things that are beyond her control that she can't do anything about, and it's not fair for her to have the blame for them pinned on her.
But it's like naturally the blame will naturally fall onto her because it's all under her name. It's her show. It's her idea. All like stuff like that. It will naturally fall onto her, and people will think that this is her fault because it's her show. It's her name. She's the face of the whole thing.
Obviously, people aren't going to like have the knowledge of TV that you do, and they're going to think, oh, it's her show. She should be blamed for all of this.
There's sort of a much bigger sort of behind the scenes that happens. Like people only see the presenter and they sort of think, oh, they have every single idea. They run the whole thing.
No,
the presenter 90% of the time, they do create ideas and stuff like that, but the producer does a lot of work.
Yeah, like the producers have the final say. In most TV shows, it's the producers who get the final say in what happens.
Exactly. So it's like Ellen can't really take all the blame of it, but I sort of do think that maybe the idea of her stepping down and taking the show off air maybe might be good for her sort of recovering.
Yeah, like for her brand, it could be.
Because in a situation like this, to keep your show on air whilst having this sort of speculation go around, one slip up can just mess up everything, and then you've literally just ruined your whole sort of career. Because it's like many sort of TV personalities and stuff like that have messed up their sort of careers by Twitter comments and stuff like that, like Facebook posts, Instagram videos. They sort of messed everything up because they're sort of being careless and like not taking that time to sort of think. And it's like, I know Ellen doesn't want to take off the show, but I think it's the right thing to do. Like, it's had a good run, don't get me wrong. Like,
17 years is a long time for a show.
So it's had a good run, but I think it's the right time to step down. I'm not sure what you think.
Yeah, especially after like what's come out.
But so moving on to the second part of the show, we're going to talk about the Black Lives Matter Vogue campaign. So British Vogue September issue had a photograph by Miss Anne Harriman, the first black male cover photographer in the magazine in 140 years, which is crazy to think about that. No, 104. Sorry, 104.
Even that is a hefty time.
It's a crazy time. So Marcus Rashford, Aboa, Rennie Edo-Lodge, and Professor Angela Davies are among the 40 international activists that were featured in the British Vogue's September issue. And it was crazy when I saw it because it was like, obviously, I know who Marcus Rashford is. I've sort of seen him grow in football, and it's crazy to sort of see someone that you've seen in a different platform where it's like they're sort of not normalized, but it's like you can sort of relate to them more.
Yeah, but more relatable.
Seeing them on this platform where everyone knows what Vogue is and how hard it is to get on the front cover, it's insane. But yeah, as the first black male photographer to shoot the cover of Vogue, it was, especially because it was taken in such a, as he was the first male black photographer to shoot for Vogue in such a long time. The real question that sort of spurred for people when I was talking to them was, why did it actually take so long for a black person
it baffles me. Like 104 years. That's over a century. Like most people don't even live for that long.
It was really weird, and I think there was a similar question that sort of spurred when Tyler Mitchell became the first photographer to shoot the cover for American Vogue in 2018. And American Vogue and British Vogue are two sort of separate things. Even though they're both Vogue, they're two separate things. So it's like you can get on the cover of American Vogue, but not British Vogue.
Yeah.
So it's two. Although it's the same name, it's two very separate things. But I don't know. I still find it crazy, like how it's taken them so long to do this. But So basically, for those who don't know this photographer, Harriman took up photography in 2016 following a career in finance. He has photographed the likes of Stormzy, Rihanna, Janet Jackson, and Olivia Colman. So he has a lot of big names under his portfolio.
He does.
In 2019, he took Princess Beatrice and Eduardo Mozzi's official engagement photos. However, it's arguably the photos he captured in the Black Lives Matter protest that sort of got him the most attention. And I don't know if all of you have seen his photos, but some of them are. There's just photos that, like, you know, when you see a photo, yeah, and it's like, yeah, that's my wall. That's like my lock screen now. Like, if you can say a photo is your lock screen, that you've captured something amazing there. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's just like a photo can tell a lot of stories. Like,
picture tells 1,000 words, and that's not just a saying, it actually can.
It's crazy because it's like all the photos that he took, they weren't like your traditional, like, oh, I need you to stand there or this or that, or like hold this and like go like that with your hand or whatever. It's like it was all natural in the moment, and he used his
it looks
skill.
better when it's not like not staged. It's just all real.
It was crazy. And it's like he captured probably one of the most important movements of our century so far.
Definitely.
In such a perfect way. It was crazy. But yeah. It was just crazy to see like Marcus Rashford on Vogue. I never thought I'd see that day. Marcus Rashford, an English footballer on Vogue.
You wouldn't think it, would you? It's crazy.
It's crazy. But there was a total of 40 different campaigners that were also spotlighted on Vogue. Obviously, Marcus Rashford was on the front cover, and other notable change makers. I think they put Marcus Rashford there because of his whole push for the free school meals thing. When Boris basically decided to get rid of that free school meals campaign to cover people during the pandemic. So a lot of people looked up to him because he stepped out, wrote a letter to the government to get it all back and running, which is very respectable. So yeah, it makes sense why he's sort of on there now, because he's sort of a very pro equality sort of person, and he's one for like activism and stuff like that. Yeah, it's really interesting. But I want to know like what your thoughts on this whole thing is. Like, what does it say about our society that it's taken 104 years for a black photographer to produce?
Well, the fact that it's taken this long. It just shows how white privilege is still prevalent today. How if you're white, you're seen as more superior, and it shouldn't be like that, especially not in 2020.
It's
104 years, like really.
I think you sort of hit the nail on the coffin there. It's like white privilege can be seen in so many different lights, and I think especially when you take it to something like this, where it's like the beauty magazine sort of industry. When you
especially in an industry like that,
go to a shop and you see all these people on the front covers, the 99% vast majority are all white.
I see that, like, especially when we were growing up, like as both of us.
It's very hard. It's very hard.
There were never people like, none of our toys look like us. Like Barbie dolls, none of them look like us.
It's very hard to sort of find something or someone on a front cover of a established magazine like Vogue, or I don't know, Teen Vogue, even that. Like, you wouldn't find someone like me or you on a weekly basis on that front cover.
Once in a while you would, but
because they paint this stigma that
thing, you wouldn't see people like us every week.
And it sort of paints the stigma that if you're not white or if you don't look like this, then you're considered an outsider. And that's then the stigma that people feed into.
That mindset.
It's just stupid, like. And people, the sad thing is that as much as people say they don't believe it, they actually do. And it's
what they've been raised to. Yeah, it's what they've been raised to believe. It's wrong.
It's like they've sort of been raised to believe that
when they were young.
That if this person is black or whatever, they're not really that worth it, or they're not really respectable, or they can't be viewed the same. Stupid, man. Like, I don't get it. And it's like a cover like this with such a powerful message. It's important because it shows that we can be treated equally, but at the same time, you need to see the underlying message that it's taken way too long for this to happen. Like, it should have never got to this stage. Like it should have just never got to this stage in the first place.
Definitely not.
But yeah, I viewed 2 of his photos. So the first one is a man basically in an I Can't Breathe t-shirt, black and white, very simple,
Yeah.
but very effective. So I don't know what it is yet, but it's like when you strip away every sort of fake thing from a photo, yeah. Because if people are gonna sit here and tell me that when Kylie Jenner's on a photo on like a front cover of like Vogue or whatever, and she's had no touch-ups, you're lying. That she's had the most touch-ups in the world.
Of course, she's had touch-ups. She's had plastic surgery and everything. Exactly. She's had her lips filled in.
It's like I guarantee you, there's hardly any touch-ups on this photo. There might be like the odd like softener or whatever, but there's hardly any.
He's put a filter on. But
exactly. All he's done is make it black and white, and he's left everything like natural. And I think just having that simple quote, like people know exactly what that quote's from. And it's like
they know
it's just so powerful.
They will connotate it with. Yeah.
It's so powerful, and especially like when you look at the Marcus Rashford one, the way it's done is so powerful. Like when you have 2 people, not necessarily like standing next to each other, but like they're standing with power, and like they look like they want to be there, and like they're doing it with meaning. It creates a different sense of power, like pride, like they're happy that they're there, instead of like seeing all these weird poses with hands and like all these fake.
I know, all the angles, like they have the lips put out.
It's like, it's stupid. It's stupid.
I know. It's just, it's so damaging because that's not what people in real life look like. But this, like,
but this is the thing. It's what people,
especially the one, the man, that is real life. That's what you saw when people were protesting.
It's what the media want people to believe, and people believe it, which is a sad thing, because now there's people that live up to that, and they want to be a social media influencer, and they want to live up to that, because this is the thing. Have you like 90% of the people nowadays, or not even 90%, in our age group of 18 to 21, a large proportion of the people that nowadays say they want to be a social media influencer are all white. Regardless of whether or not you want to deny it, it is the truth. Guarantee you can ask at least 10 people, mainly girls, you can ask them, the majority of the people that you ask that are girls that consider themselves a social media influencer are white. Because that's what the media portrays. They portray these people
especially
in a positive light.
Yeah. An example is like Love Island. Every single year, they occasionally have a girl or a boy who's of colour on there.
It's like Love Island.
Everyone is like everyone who gets the brand deals and is the influencer.
It's like I don't like the concept of Love Island, and I don't really respect the diversity in the way they portray people. But I respect the black people that go on the show so much, simply because they know what they're going to get themselves into, and they know what they're about to do, and I respect them so much.
Like
in regards to Love Island,
there was Amber a couple of seasons ago. I respected her a lot.
I can't respect like Love Island and the way they portray people, because they say that they have diversity and stuff like that. Put it this way, if Mike wasn't in that villa and Priscilla never came in, more or less the whole show would just be white people.
Yeah, it'd be white people. It's not.
It's like, what is fun about that? And
there isn't diversity. It's just damaging, like
dumb conversations that they have. It's so pointless. And it's just, I find it ironic. I find it really ironic how they find these people, and they already start with a small following, which is like probably like 30k. They already claim to be social media influencers, and they always seem to have those dumb conversations. It's like, how much more?
Yeah, I remember there was one year where someone said, I was asking if Spain was in England or something. I was like,
oh yeah, and then there was one season where Hayley
surely that's staged, like, you'd know.
I think it was a girl called Hayley. She was like, does Brexit mean we'll have no trees? And I'm just like, where do you find these people? Like, seriously, like.
I think that's what the producers want, though. They want people to say stuff like that, so it gets talked about and there's more ratings for them.
It's just stupid, because it's like when black people get on the show, they hardly get any airtime, and it's like they've done nothing wrong. So I just don't get it. Like, I actually don't get it. It's stupid. But we're gonna wrap up the show. But we spoke. So for those who want a quick sort of recap, we spoke about obviously the Black Lives Matter Vogue campaign, which I'm all for. Like, I don't see any problem with it.
Definitely.
My only issue is how long it's
Nothing
taken
wrong with
for
it.
it
We
to
should
happen.
all be for it.
My only issue is just how long it's taken to happen, and why it's sort of taken this long. But I'm all for it. Like, seeing a person you can sort of relate to on a magazine that you can more or less walk into a shop and see is amazing. Like, it's crazy. Because like when you grow up and you see all your friends like being able to relate to like Barbie, Ken, and all these other things, and there's nothing for you to relate to.
No.
It's different. It's different. Like, people won't understand. But when like we spoke about Ellen, obviously, and I don't know. I feel like her time's come to sort of take a step back, maybe try something new. But yeah, the Ellen show, I think it's had so many allegations, speculations, and stuff like that. Like, maybe it's just a time to sort of take a step back, regroup, recover her brand, and try again something else. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you guys think. Let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and yeah, stay tuned for the next one. But for now, I've been Alex Charles. I've been joined by Anna. You've been watching Livebox and Live at The Quays. And thank you guys so much for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
See ya.